Hey, warrior, I want you to stop for a second. Right now. Before you scroll past this message like you do with everything else. Before you give in to that urge to move on to the next distraction, the next dopamine hit, the next escape. I want you to feel something right now. Feel the weight of this moment. Because this moment is all you have. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. This breath, this heartbeat, this single second where you get to decide who you are. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Read that again. You have power over your mind, not your circumstances, not your past, not what someone said to you, not what happened to you last week or 10 years ago. Your mind. That's your kingdom. That's your battlefield. And right now, most of you are losing that battle. You're reacting to everything, every text message, every criticism, every setback, every disappointment. You're like a leaf in the wind, blown around by forces you think you can't control. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You can control it. You can train your mind to respond instead of react. And when you do, everything changes. Look around you. Look at the world we live in. Everyone's on edge. Everyone's triggered. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they lose their mind for an hour. Someone disagrees with them online and they spiral into rage. Their boss criticizes them and they carry that weight for days. A relationship ends and they collapse into victimhood. This is the modern condition. A society of reactive children trapped in adult bodies. No discipline, no pause, no space between stimulus and response. Just pure, unfiltered reaction. Like animals. Like slaves to their emotions. And the saddest part, most people think this is normal. They think this is just how life is. They say things like, "I can't help it," or "That's just how I am," or "They made me feel this way." But the Stoics knew better. 2,000 years ago, they figured out what most people still haven't learned today. Between every action and your response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power, your freedom, your humanity. Seneca said it perfectly. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Think about that. Most of your pain isn't real. It's imagined. It's the story you tell yourself about what happened. It's the drama you create in your mind. Someone doesn't text you back, and you create an entire narrative about rejection. You make a mistake, and you convince yourself you're a failure. You face one setback, and you decide the universe is against you. But none of that is real. It's reaction. It's your untrained mind running wild, creating suffering where none needs to exist. And until you train that mind, until you build that space between what happens and how you respond, you will always be a slave, not to your circumstances, but to yourself, to your own weakness, to your own lack of discipline. This is your wake-up call. This is the moment where you decide, do I keep living like this, constantly thrown off balance by every little thing, or do I train my mind to be unshakable? Do I keep being reactive, emotional, and out of control? Or do I become someone who responds with wisdom, clarity, and strength? Because I promise you this, the quality of your life is not determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you respond to what happens to you. And right now, most of you are responding like you've had no training at all. Like you've never practiced emotional discipline. Like you've never built the mental fortitude required to face life with calm and power. But that ends today. That ends right now. Because I'm about to show you how. Now listen carefully. This message is not for everyone. If you're here looking for comfort, you won't find it. If you want me to tell you it's okay to be weak, I won't do that. If you need permission to stay the same, to keep reacting, to keep being controlled by your emotions, then this video is not for you. This message is for the few, the ones who still have that fire burning inside, the ones who know they're capable of more, but haven't figured out how to access it yet, the ones who are tired of being controlled by their reactions and ready to take command of their inner world. If that's you, if you feel that pull, if something inside you knows you were meant for more than this reactive, chaotic existence, then stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 Stoic laws that will transform the way you think, feel, and respond to everything life throws at you. These are not theories. These are battle-tested principles that have guided warriors, emperors, and philosophers for thousands of years. And when you apply them, you will become someone who cannot be shaken, someone who cannot be controlled, someone who responds, not reacts. Let's begin. Number 1. Master the pause. Here's what most people don't understand. Your first reaction to anything is almost always wrong. It's emotional. It's primal. It's the animal part of your brain trying to protect you from a threat that usually isn't even real. Someone insults you, and your first instinct is to attack back. Someone criticizes your work, and your first feeling is shame or anger. You don't get what you want, and your first response is frustration or despair. But those first reactions, they're not you. They're just old programming. Ancient survival mechanisms that served us when we were running from predators, but now only serve to make us miserable and weak. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But here's the key most people miss. Before you can control your reaction, you have to create space. You have to master the pause. That moment between what happens and what you do next. That's where all your power lives. Think about the last time you reacted badly to something. Maybe you sent an angry text. Maybe you said something in the heat of the moment you regretted later. Maybe you made a decision based on emotion that you knew, even as you were making it, was wrong. Now, imagine if, in that moment, you had paused, just for 5 seconds, just long enough to take a breath, to step back, to ask yourself, is this who I want to be right now? Is this reaction serving me? Is this the move of a disciplined person or a reactive one? That pause changes everything, because in that space, you reclaim your power. You move from unconscious reaction to conscious response. You stop being a slave to your emotions and become their master. But here's the problem. Most people have never trained this muscle. They've spent their whole lives reacting immediately to everything, and now they think that's just who they are. They think they're an angry person, or a sensitive person, or an anxious person. But you're not those things. You've just never trained yourself to be anything else. You've never practiced the pause. You've never built the discipline to stop, breathe, and choose your response. And without that discipline, you will always be controlled. By your emotions, by other people, by circumstances. You'll always be one trigger away from losing your center, one comment away from spiraling, one setback away from collapse. Is that how you want to live? Or do you want to be someone who cannot be moved? Someone who stays calm in chaos? Someone who responds with wisdom no matter what happens? Here's how you start. Today, right now. The next time something happens that would normally make you react, stop. Physically stop. Take 3 deep breaths. Count them. 1, 2, 3. Feel your body. Feel the emotion trying to take control. Name it. This is anger. This is fear. This is shame. Don't judge it. Don't fight it. Just observe it. And then ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this? Not how do I feel? How do I want to respond? What would the strongest version of me do right now? What would someone with discipline do? And then do that. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. Because it's in alignment with who you're becoming. Do this once, and it will be hard. Do it 10 times, and it will get easier. Do it 100 times, and it will become who you are. A person who responds, not a person who reacts. Type this below if you're ready to master the pause. I control my reactions. I respond with power. Number 2, understand that most things don't require a response. Here's a truth that will set you free. Most of what happens in your life doesn't actually require a response from you at all. Someone has an opinion about you. You don't need to respond. Someone tries to provoke you. You don't need to engage. Something doesn't go your way. You don't need to complain. The world is full of noise, full of people trying to pull you into their drama, full of situations that want your emotional energy. And the reactive person gives it freely. They respond to everything. They engage with everyone. They let every little thing affect them. But the disciplined person, the Stoic, they understand something powerful. Silence is a response. Detachment is a response. Moving forward without acknowledgement is a response. And often, it's the strongest one. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Think about that. When someone tries to provoke you, what do they want? They want you to react. They want you to lose control. They want you to descend to their level. They want proof that they can affect you. And every time you react, every time you engage, every time you let them pull you into their chaos, you give them exactly what they want. You hand over your power. You prove that they control you. But when you don't respond, when you stay calm, when you simply observe and move on, that's when you win. Not because you defeated them in some petty argument, but because you remained unshakable. You proved to yourself that you cannot be moved by things that don't matter. Most people are addicted to reacting. They're addicted to defending themselves, to explaining themselves, to making sure everyone knows their side of the story, to proving they're right, to getting the last word. But all of that is ego. All of that is weakness disguised as strength. True strength is knowing when something doesn't deserve your energy. True power is being able to let things go, to see an insult and feel nothing, to see drama and walk past it, to see chaos and remain centered. This doesn't mean you're passive. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're selective. It means you understand that your attention is valuable, your energy is limited, and you're not going to waste either one on things that don't move you toward your goals. Start asking yourself this question. Does this require my response? When someone criticizes you, does it require a response? When someone tries to start an argument, does it require a response? When something goes wrong, does it require an emotional breakdown or just a solution? Most of the time, the answer is no. Most of the time, the best move is to stay silent, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Let your results speak. Let your character speak. Let your discipline speak. Not your reactions, not your emotions, not your need to be right. Because at the end of your life, No one is going to remember how many arguments you won, but they will remember how you carried yourself, how you stayed calm when others lost their minds, how you remained strong when others crumbled, how you responded to adversity with grace and wisdom. That's the legacy of a Stoic, and it starts with understanding that most things don't need your response at all. If you understand this, comment, "I choose my battles. I protect my peace." Number 3, separate facts from feelings. This is where most people lose the battle before it even begins. They can't tell the difference between what actually happened and how they feel about what happened. Someone doesn't invite them to something, and they feel rejected. So they decide they're not wanted. They make a mistake at work and they feel embarrassed, so they decide they're incompetent. Someone doesn't text back and they feel anxious, so they decide something is wrong. But here's the truth. Facts and feelings are not the same thing. What happened is what happened. How you feel about it is just a story. And most of the time, that story is making everything worse. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Read that again. It's not the thing that hurts you. It's your interpretation of the thing, your story about it, your meaning-making, your judgment. You don't control what happens, but you do control what it means. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's a fact. You getting angry and staying angry for the next hour, that's a choice. That's your interpretation. That's you deciding that this random stranger's action is somehow about you, somehow worthy of your emotional energy, somehow important enough to ruin your mood. But it's not. It never was. You just told yourself a story that made it so. Here's what disciplined people do. They separate facts from feelings. When something happens, they pause, they observe, and they ask, what actually happened here? Not how do I feel about it? What are the objective facts? Someone didn't call you back. That's a fact. They hate you? That's a feeling, a story, an assumption. You failed at something. That's a fact. You're a failure. That's a feeling. That's you taking one data point and turning it into an identity. You got criticized. That's a fact. You're not good enough. That's a story. And most of the time, that story is a lie. It's your fear talking. It's your insecurity talking. It's your untrained mind running wild, creating suffering that doesn't need to exist. Train yourself to separate these two things. When something happens that triggers you, stop and write down the facts. Just the facts. No interpretations, no feelings, no stories. Then look at what you wrote. That's reality. Everything else is you. Your conditioning, your past wounds, your fears, your ego. And once you see that clearly, you can choose a different story, a better story, a story that serves you instead of weakens you. Someone didn't text back? Maybe they're busy, maybe they forgot. Maybe it has nothing to do with you at all. You made a mistake? Good. Now you know what doesn't work. Now you're closer to figuring it out. You got criticized? Maybe it's valid feedback, maybe it's not. Either way, it's just information. It doesn't define you unless you let it. This is how you train your mind to respond instead of react. You stop treating your feelings like facts. You stop believing every thought that pops into your head. You stop letting your emotions dictate your reality, because they're not reality. They're just signals, sometimes useful, often not. And the more you practice separating facts from feelings, the more clearly you'll see the world, the less you'll suffer, and the more power you'll have to choose your response to anything life throws at you. Comment this truth: facts don't care about my feelings, neither should I. Number 4. Train your mind like you train your body. You wouldn't expect to walk into a gym, pick up a heavy weight, and lift it easily if you'd never trained before, would you? Of course not. You understand that physical strength requires practice, repetition, discipline, time. So why do you expect your mind to be strong when you've never trained it? Why do you expect to stay calm under pressure when you've never practiced being calm? Why do you expect to respond with wisdom when you've spent your whole life reacting with emotion? Your mind is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with training and weaker with neglect. And right now, most of you have been neglecting it your entire lives. The Stoics were obsessed with mental training. They didn't just philosophize about virtue and wisdom. They practiced it every single day. Marcus Aurelius would wake up and prepare himself mentally for the challenges ahead. He would remind himself that he would encounter difficult people, unfair situations, and unexpected obstacles. Not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared, to train his mind to respond with grace instead of react with frustration. Seneca would practice voluntary discomfort. He would sleep on a hard floor, go without food, face his fears deliberately, not because he was masochistic, but because he understood that comfort makes you weak and discomfort makes you strong. He was training his mind to stay calm and functional, even when things got hard. This is what you need to start doing. You need to deliberately put yourself in situations that challenge your mental discipline. Start small. The next time you're in line at the store and someone cuts in front of you, that's training. Don't react. Breathe. Observe your irritation without acting on it. Let it pass. The next time you're stuck in traffic, that's training. Don't curse. Don't honk. Don't let your frustration build. Stay present. Stay calm. Accept what you can't control and focus on what you can, your response. The next time someone criticizes you, that's training. Don't defend. Don't deflect. Listen. Consider if there's truth in it. Thank them if there is. Let it go if there isn't. Every single challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your mind, to practice the pause, to choose your response, but only if you treat it that way. Only if you see it as training instead of as something happening to you. And just like physical training, mental training requires consistency. You can't meditate once and expect to be enlightened. You can't practice patience one time and expect to be calm forever. You have to do it every day. You have to build the habit of observing your thoughts, questioning your reactions, and choosing better responses. Start with 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly, watch your mind. Notice how it jumps from thought to thought. Notice how it tries to create problems where there aren't any. Notice how it resists the present moment. Don't fight it. Just observe. This is you learning how your mind works. And the more you understand it, the more you can control it. The more you can train it to serve you instead of sabotage you. Here's the beautiful thing about mental training. It compounds. Every time you successfully pause before reacting, it gets easier the next time. Every time you choose a calm response over an emotional one, you strengthen that neural pathway. You're literally rewiring your brain, building new patterns, creating a new default. And over time, what used to trigger you won't anymore. What used to throw you off balance won't even register. You'll become someone who stays calm in chaos, someone who responds with wisdom under pressure, someone who cannot be shaken, but only if you do the work, only if you treat your mind like the most important thing you own, because it is. Type this commitment: I train my mind daily. I am in control. Number 5. Accept what you cannot control. This is the foundation of Stoicism, and it's the one truth that will free you from 90% of your suffering. You are wasting your life worrying about things you cannot control. You're stressed about the economy, the weather, what people think of you, whether you'll get that job, whether that person will text you back, what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next year. And all of that stress, completely pointless, because you can't control any of it. Not one bit. The only thing you control is you, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. That's it. Everything else is outside your power. And the moment you truly accept that, everything changes. Epictetus taught his students to divide everything into 2 categories: things within your control and things outside your control, and he was ruthlessly clear about what belonged in each category. You control your effort, your attitude, your discipline, your response, your integrity, your character. You don't control outcomes, other people, the past, the future, circumstances, what people think or say about you. And yet, most people spend 90% of their mental energy worrying about the second category and almost none on the first. They worry about whether people will like them, instead of focusing on being likable. They worry about whether they'll succeed instead of focusing on doing the work. They worry about what might go wrong, instead of focusing on what they can do right now. And that's why they're miserable. That's why they're anxious. That's why they feel powerless. Because they're fighting battles they can never win. Here's what acceptance looks like in practice. You apply for a job. You give it your best. You prepare. You show up. You present yourself well. Then you let it go. Because whether you get it or not is no longer in your control. The decision is theirs. The outcome is outside your power. So you don't check your email obsessively. You don't replay the interview in your mind looking for mistakes. You don't create anxiety where none needs to exist. You did what you could. That's enough. Now you move forward. You're in a relationship and it ends. You can't control their choice. You can't control their feelings. You can only control how you respond. Do you spiral into victimhood and self-pity? Or do you accept what happened, learn from it, and move forward with dignity? The weather ruins your plans. You can't control the weather. You can only control your response. Do you complain and let it ruin your day? Or do you adapt and find something else to do? This is not passivity. This is power. Because when you stop wasting energy on things you can't control, you have all that energy available for things you can. You stop being anxious about outcomes and start being focused on actions. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the author of your response. And that's where all your freedom lives. Not in controlling the world, but in controlling yourself, your reactions, your thoughts, your focus. That's the only control that matters. That's the only control that's real. Everything else is an illusion, a fantasy, a waste of time and energy that will leave you exhausted and powerless. Start practicing this today. When you feel yourself stressing about something, pause and ask, "Can I control this?" If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your focus to what you can control. Your effort, your attitude, your next action. If the answer is yes, then do something about it. Stop worrying and start acting, because worry is just fear without action. It's mental energy going nowhere. And disciplined people don't waste energy. They channel it. They focus it. They direct it toward things that matter, things they can actually influence. And that's how they stay calm. That's how they stay powerful. That's how they respond instead of react. If this resonates, comment. I release what I can't control. I focus on what I can. Number 6, remember that everything is temporary. The Stoics had a practice called memento mori. Remember, you will die. It sounds dark, but it's actually the most liberating truth you can internalize. You will die. Everyone you know will die. Everything you're worried about right now will eventually be forgotten. That argument you had won't matter in a year. That embarrassing moment, no one will remember it in a month. That failure you're beating yourself up over, it will be irrelevant in a week. And your life itself? It's a brief flash in the vastness of time. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, reminded himself of this every single day. He wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think, not to be morbid, but to be clear, to be focused, to remember what actually matters. When you truly understand that everything is temporary, your entire perspective shifts. Suddenly, that person's opinion of you doesn't feel so important. Suddenly, that setback doesn't feel so devastating. Suddenly, that fear doesn't feel so overwhelming. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's all so small, so brief, so insignificant. This doesn't mean nothing matters. It means you get to choose what matters. You get to decide where to place your focus, your energy, your emotional investment. And when you remember that your time is limited, that this life is finite, that every moment you spend reacting to nonsense is a moment you'll never get back, you start making better choices. You start protecting your peace. You start responding instead of reacting, because you realize you don't have time for anything else. Think about the things that used to bother you 5 years ago. Can you even remember most of them? Probably not. And if you can, they likely seem trivial now. So why are you giving so much power to the things bothering you today? Why are you letting temporary problems create permanent stress? Why are you reacting as if any of this will matter in the long run? The answer is simple. You've forgotten that everything passes. Pain passes. Joy passes. Success passes. Failure passes. Everything is in motion. Nothing stays. And the moment you remember that, you become free. Free from the need to control outcomes. Free from the fear of losing things. Free from the weight of taking everything so seriously. Use this truth as a tool. When something triggers you, when you feel that familiar urge to react, stop and ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Will this matter in 1 year? Will this matter next week? If the answer is no, then why are you giving it so much of your present moment? Why are you sacrificing your peace for something that won't even be a memory soon? This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about perspective. It's about understanding the scale of things. It's about not letting temporary discomfort create permanent patterns of reaction. Because every time you react, you strengthen that pattern. Every time you let something small derail you, you train your mind that it's okay to be derailed by small things. And over time, you become someone who can be thrown off by anything. Is that who you want to be? Or do you want to be someone who stays grounded, who keeps perspective, who remembers that this too shall pass? The Stoics didn't fear death. They used it as motivation. They used it to stay present, to stay focused, to not waste time on meaningless reactions and petty dramas, because they knew something most people never learn. Life is too short to spend it being controlled by your emotions, too short to waste on things that don't matter, too short to live reactively instead of intentionally. So, they trained themselves to respond with wisdom, to act with purpose, to make every moment count. Not because they were obsessed with productivity, but because they understood the value of time. They understood that every moment you spend reacting is a moment you're not spending living, creating, growing, becoming. And that's the real tragedy. Not death, but a life spent unconscious, a life spent reacting, a life spent never truly in control of yourself. Comment if you're ready to live with this awareness. I am mortal. I will not waste my time reacting. Number 7. Build your philosophy before the storm. Here's what happens to people who don't train their minds. They're fine when life is easy, when everything is going well, when they're comfortable, when there's no pressure. They can stay calm. They can be reasonable. They can respond well. But the moment things get hard, the moment they face real adversity, real pain, real challenge, they collapse. They react. They panic. They lose control. Because they never built a foundation. They never trained. They waited until the storm to try to learn how to sail. And by then, it's too late. You don't build your philosophy in the middle of crisis. You build it now, in the calm, in the everyday moments, so that when the storm comes, and it will come, you're ready. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't wait for tragedy to strike before figuring out how to handle it. They prepared. They rehearsed. They mentally simulated adversity so that when it showed up in real life, they had a response ready. Seneca called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. He would imagine losing everything, his wealth, his status, his loved ones, not to torture himself, but to prepare himself, to remove the shock, to train his mind to accept whatever might come, so that when hardship actually arrived, he wasn't blindsided. He wasn't reactive. He was ready. He had already made peace with the possibility. He had already decided how he would respond. This is what you need to do. Right now, while things are relatively calm, you need to build your mental framework. You need to decide who you want to be when things get hard. Not in theory, in practice. What are your principles? What are your non-negotiables? How do you want to respond to criticism, to failure, to loss, to betrayal, to pain? Don't wait until you're in the middle of it to figure this out. Decide now. Write it down. Make it clear. Because when you're emotional, when you're triggered, when you're in the middle of the storm, you won't think clearly. You'll react. You'll fall back on old patterns. You'll do what's comfortable, not what's right. Unless you've already trained a different response. Unless you've already built a philosophy that can guide you through the darkness. Think of it like this. Your philosophy is your foundation. The stronger it is, the more you can build on it, the more storms it can weather. And you build that foundation through daily practice, through meditation, through study, through deliberately challenging yourself, through reflection, through learning from the Stoics and other wise teachers who came before you, through applying their principles in your own life, through testing them, through making them your own. This isn't about memorizing quotes. It's about internalizing truths. It's about training your mind to automatically respond from wisdom instead of emotion. And that only happens through repetition, through practice, through building the habit of pausing, reflecting, and choosing your response instead of defaulting to reaction. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you build that foundation, once you train that response, once you internalize these Stoic principles, they become automatic. You don't have to think about them anymore. You just respond from them. Someone insults you, and you don't even feel the urge to react. Something goes wrong, and you immediately focus on solutions instead of problems. You face adversity, and you stay calm, not because you're suppressing your emotions, but because you genuinely see it as an opportunity to practice your philosophy, to test your discipline, to prove to yourself that you cannot be broken. That's what training gives you. That's what preparation gives you. Not the absence of challenges, but the strength to face them without losing yourself, without reacting, without collapsing. And that's worth everything. If you're committed to building your foundation now, comment, "I build my strength before I need it." Listen to me. We've covered 7 laws today, 7 Stoic principles that, if you truly internalize them, will transform your life. Not because they're magic, but because they're true. They're battle-tested wisdom from people who face the same human struggles you face now, the same fears, the same temptations, the same urge to react instead of respond. And they figured out how to overcome it. They figured out how to train their minds, how to build unshakable discipline, how to stay calm in chaos, how to respond with wisdom instead of react with emotion. And now you have access to that same wisdom. The question is, what will you do with it? Because here's the thing nobody tells you. Knowledge without action is worthless. You can watch this video. You can nod along. You can even leave a comment. But if you don't actually apply these principles, if you don't actually do the work of training your mind, nothing will change. You'll still be reactive. You'll still be controlled by your emotions. You'll still be thrown off balance by every little thing. And a year from now, you'll be in the exact same place, wondering why your life hasn't improved. So I'm asking you right now, are you actually going to do this? Are you going to commit to mastering the pause, to separating facts from feelings, to training your mind daily, to accepting what you can't control, to remembering that everything is temporary, to building your philosophy before the storm? Or are you going to go back to your old patterns, your old reactions, your old ways of being that have kept you stuck? The truth is, most people won't change. Most people will watch this video, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go right back to being reactive, right back to being controlled by their emotions, right back to living unconsciously. And that's fine. This message wasn't for them anyway. This message was for you, the one who's still here, the one who's made it this far, the one who knows deep in your bones that you're capable of more, that you were meant for more, that somewhere inside you is a warrior waiting to be awakened, a disciplined, focused, unshakable version of yourself that responds instead of reacts, that stays calm in chaos, that cannot be moved by things that don't matter. And that version of you, it's not some distant fantasy. It's not something you'll become someday. It's who you are right now. You just have to train it. You just have to build it. You just have to practice it until it becomes your default. Marcus Aurelius spent his entire life training his mind. He was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world. And yet every single day, he reminded himself of these principles. Every single day, he practiced responding instead of reacting, because he understood that external power means nothing if you don't have internal power, that you can control an empire and still be a slave to your emotions. And he refused to be that. He refused to let his circumstances control him. He refused to react. He chose to respond, always, in every situation, no matter how difficult. And that's what made him truly powerful. Not his title, not his wealth, not his armies, his mind, his discipline, his ability to stay centered when everything around him was chaos. And you can have that same power. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you've been through. You can train your mind. You can master your reactions. You can become someone who responds with wisdom instead of reacts with emotion, but only if you commit. Only if you do the work. Only if you treat this like the most important project of your life. Because it is. Your mind is your life. Everything you experience, everything you feel, everything you accomplish or fail to accomplish, it all comes down to how trained your mind is, how disciplined, how focused, how capable of responding instead of reacting. So here's your challenge. Starting today, right now, commit to mastering one of these laws. Just one. Pick the one that resonated most with you, the one you need most right now, and practice it every single day for the next 30 days. Don't try to do all 7 at once. Just focus on one. Master the pause, or separate facts from feelings, or accept what you can't control. Whatever it is, commit to it fully, and watch what happens. Watch how your life starts to change, how you start to feel more in control, more calm, more powerful, not because your circumstances changed, but because you changed, because you trained your mind, because you became someone who responds instead of reacts. And then, once you've mastered one, move to the next. Build them one by one, layer by layer, until all 7 become part of who you are, until responding with wisdom becomes your automatic response, until staying calm in chaos becomes your natural state, until you become the kind of person who cannot be shaken, who cannot be controlled, who cannot be broken, because you've trained your mind to be unbreakable. And when you reach that point, when you internalize these principles so deeply that they become you, you'll look back on this moment and realize, this was when everything changed. This was when I stopped being a victim of my reactions and became the master of my responses. This was when I stopped being weak and became strong. This was when I stopped being controlled and became free. The Stoics have given you the map. The principles are clear. The path is laid out. All that's left is for you to walk it, to do the work, to train your mind, to practice every single day, to choose response over reaction, wisdom over emotion, discipline over comfort. And if you do that, if you truly commit to this path, I promise you, your life will never be the same. You will become someone you're proud of, someone you respect, someone who stands tall in the storm and cannot be moved, someone who lives intentionally instead of reactively, someone who is truly free. And that's the real power of Stoicism. Not that it makes your life easy, but that it makes you strong enough to face whatever comes, to respond with grace, to live with purpose, to die with no regrets. So comment your truth below. Tell me which law you're committing to first. Tell me you're ready to do this work. Tell me you're done being reactive and ready to become someone who responds with power. Like this video if it resonated. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel if you want more of this warrior wisdom, this Stoic philosophy that will transform your life. And most importantly, don't just consume this message. Live it, apply it, become it, because that's the only thing that matters. Not what you know, but what you do. Not what you believe, but how you act. Not who you are today, but who you're becoming through daily discipline and practice. The path is in front of you. The choice is yours. Now walk it, with strength, with discipline, with the calm power of a trained mind. Walk it like the Stoic warrior you were always meant to be.